you've proven to the world is that 500,000 kids, and I call you kids because I have children older than you are, 500,000 young people can get together and have 3 days of fun and music, and have nothing but fun and music, and I God bless you for it.
Hello. As some of you know, I am a baby boomer, which means I'm an old man, officially, and man, I feel it. I was an activist during most of the 60s, up until 74. This poem and more is for my fellow baby boomers and for everyone else to give something to think about. I'm not sure it was Watergate, Kent State, us losing the line in Vietnam, or we just simply gave up. It seemed like many of us in my generation simply disappeared, went underground, and including myself, we're determined to live fast and die young. So we ended up going on the disco floor, we danced while Rome burned, and pretty well ignored what was going on. Perhaps there were many that were being activists underground, just not sure. After leaving the cult I was in and having to break down in 74, from 75 to 80, I frankly didn't care what anybody did or said or anything else. Then sadly, it took the murder of one of my biggest inspirations, John Lennon, to wake me up. I don't understand what has happened to my generation. They went from wanting to change the world to wanting to buy it, believing the lies that more is better. They have to keep up with the Joneses, buy the latest toys, and that should not be a priority. You can't take anything with you. In my opinion, what we do for our fellow man and for this planet will have a much better recourse in eternity and will help save this fragile world. I woke up shortly after I got out of shock from one of the biggest events of my life. This poem was written originally in August of 81, and it's even more appropriate today. Thankfully, I can see that the youth are waking up, and several of my generation are even waking up. But we can make a difference. Everyone's either part of the problem or the solution. And even though I'm medically dying and in constant pain, I'm still doing what I can to help make the world a better place. It doesn't have to be anything big, but everybody could do something. So I'll read this to you and see you go from there. The following is a response to the neutron, nuclear bombs, and all the weaponry of war, violence, hatred, and murders throughout the world. It's also about the killing of my friend John Lennon and about the Woodstock Nation generation. What happened? I've asked that 1,000 times. What happened? What happened to my generation? A generation of the 60s that was supposed to be hip, groovy, and cool. Were we really in, or were we just a bunch of fools? What happened to the Woodstock Nation? They were preaching love, peace, and no more wars. Now we find less than 20 years later, even more bombs and missiles ready to soar. Where have all the flowers gone? Was it just a passing thing? Have we all got our goals in life rearranged? They surely must have been right. We can't afford for them to be wrong. Back then I thought Most of us were sort of beautiful and groovy. Did the peace generation really happen? Or was it just a movie? Did the soon-to-be adults get burned out on drugs, are now strung out like a rug? Or did they simply submit to what they're fighting against? Did they sell out to the system, which then didn't make any sense? Do we ever have a chance anytime along? All we're trying to sing was a song of peace. But still they insist on promoting wars and making bombs. Is there anyone left who wants to make love and not war? Did John have to die in vain? Did his dream die with him? For the sake of the human race, I pray not. If they insist on continuing toward World War III, the entire human race will rot. No nuclear war can we win. Pray that the war will never begin. To paraphrase the great Lennon McCartney, your life isn't very long. Before you know it, it'll be gone. There isn't enough time to be fighting with one another, because the people you are with are your sisters and brothers. For man's sake, please stop all this violence, hatred, and wars. Please let there be no more. To me, I don't think my generation was so wrong. I think they're as right as can be. Don't let John Lennon's dream die, because the whole world must see. The dream of hope, of love, and non-violence must be more than just a dream. It must be more. It must be a lifetime goal, more than just a scheme. Love lives, hatred doesn't. Now, many have misconstrued what the meaning of hippie is. No, it wasn't sex, drugs, and rock and roll. For some it was, but not what the meaning of the word means to me. It means that someone who is aware, who's concerned, and caring about what goes on and what is going on and wants to make a difference. It's more than okay to chase the American dream or the supposed dream and have money and provide for your family. But don't forget there are millions and millions of people out there who are suffering. You can chase your dream and your goals and do something to help make the world a better place. So feel free to comment, and with that, I will close. I would still consider myself an Asian hippie, and I'm an activist, and I'm also a realist, and I have to find a way to survive myself. So, make love, not war. Take care. Bye.